Hi, class. I hope you enjoyed my role play. I apologize ahead of time regarding the time. Unfortunately, we role played it a few times and we had the right time. The last time it went a little bit longer, and that's something I'll address later on in this PowerPoint. Um, I'll be touching on focus. Um, in my role play, I started by introducing myself and explaining my clinical role and clarifying the process of the multidimensional family therapy to the client. Um, we started by getting some background information on Chris's role in the family. I asked him some questions, tried to ask as many open-ended questions so that I could better understand what Chris's role was in the family in that context. Also get some contextual family information. I also wanted to ask Chris what he felt Kyle's perspective would be in regards to the roles of the family. I ended that area with a discussion of the strengths of the family so that they can, use that strength-based perspective to move forward. Then we had a discussion of the presenting problem. I wanted to listen to the client's perspective, the father's role and what his feelings were. We wanted to let him process that information and, actually get to tell the story, because more than likely to this point, he may not have had the opportunity to actually really discuss his feelings and process that yet. That might have been the first time he really had that opportunity. He shared that he didn't really feel comfortable, discussing that with friends because was very embarrassing. So it was probably very helpful for him to just kind of just tell me his side of the story of the way the events unraveled. And then from there, we explained the direction where this intervention would go. Then after that, I acknowledged and validated his feelings so that he understood that he wasn't being irrational, that these were normal things, and that if he was going to a therapist that specialized in that, they could validate that this was a typical process. Then we ended it with discussing some coping strategies and responses. We only really got to briefly touch on this. In a normal session that might have been an hour long, we probably would have been able to explore this a little more. I wanted to end with something, with a plan. So that's why I kind of ended up taking a little longer. I didn't want to just end on the negative note of him just processing that information. I wanted to end it on him leaving there with a plan for improvement. Some of the challenges of the MDFT intervention. First of all, depending on the family size, it's just navigating each family member's truth and all of the contextual information. It's a lot of information. You're getting each family member's perspective and understanding that is their truth. Whatever they're telling you that's their idea of truth. And you kind of have to manage and mold all those together in order to create a plan for them to move forward. Additionally, you need to create a trusting relationship with each family member. If even one of the family members feels apprehensive or doesn't feel like this is a process that they can trust, it could impede on the entire process. So you need to create not just that trusting collaborative relationship with one member, it needs to be with each family member. So you need to have pretty good clinical skills. And remaining focused on the presenting problem. And that's what I'll address with the, going over the time limit. You need to be able to help them process, and you need to get some of that background information, but at the same time, you need to stay focused on the addiction and moving forward, or even just the substance use and getting a handle on that so that you're making the positive change within the adolescent's behavior. So while you do need that background information, you need to be able to remain focused and get the most pertinent information in order to come up with that collaborative plan. Some of the clinical challenges are just remaining unbiased. You may feel drawn to one particular family member, but you can't allow that to navigate the way you're guiding the family. And you need to remain an unbiased part of that process. Ensuring you're using best practices to guide the family towards positive change. This is something I'm really hoping that through my field experiences, I'm going to get some great experience with. Um, just learning about those best practices while I'm working with families at care and treatment centers. I'm hoping I'll learn some good clinical skills. Providing continual positive feedback, ensuring that, and like I said, that's why I wanted to end with that. Make sure that the family members each time are walking away feeling that they have the potential to make that positive change. And finally, as in with all of our clinical experiences, just practicing that attentiveness. And for me, like I noticed that during this session, it's remaining attentive while navigating through the session at the same time. So kind of making sure that you're using all of your listening and skills and body language while at the same time also being prepared for what the next step in that session is going to be. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the my role play and the wrap up. All right, well, have a great night.